In today's video, we're going to be analyzing something I find both extremely disturbing and fascinating about space: voids and sounds from space. Now, you've probably heard the term void of space, but do you know what an actual void of space looks like? To give you a preview of what this looks like, we would have to take a step back a little bit. Well, maybe not a little bit, like a lot. You see, when you start to observe the universe from a macro scale, you realize that there are lots of holes in space. Well, not holes, but lots of space in space. These empty regions can be found in between galaxies, and on a much more broader scale, they can be found in between galaxy clusters. An example of this void will be the Botez void. The Botez void is a near-empty region of space that spans across a distance of 330 million light years. We will address that distance in a second, but firstly, what are voids? Voids are empty regions in space that contain very few galaxies or stars, or even any form of matter for that matter. These voids are some of the largest structures in the universe, spanning across millions of light years and other times hundreds of millions of light years. How are these voids formed? Galaxy and galaxy clusters form web-like structures that connect everything in the universe together. This is called the cosmic web. And similar to cobwebs, they have a lot of connecting strings of matter, but with even more space in between them. Now, these spaces are called voids. Over the years, scientists have named a few of them, including the Botez void, which we're currently discussing. Now, as mentioned earlier, this void spans a distance of 330 million light years. Now, for those of you who don't know, a light year is the distance that light covers in a year. Light year. But a year is a measurement of time, not distance. So why is light year being used, you may ask? Well, you see, in a vacuum of space, light has a fixed speed, and that speed is per second. Now, if you multiply that by how many seconds you have in a day and how many days you have in a year, you can have the astronomical unit of measurement or distance that light can travel in a year. It will take 330 million years to get from one end of this void to the other. Bear in mind, light moves extremely fast in a vacuum of space. It can circle the entire globe 7.5 times in 1 second, can get from the sun to the planet's surface in 8 minutes. If you give someone a flashlight and ask them to beam it from one corner of this void straight across the center, it will take 330 million years for the receiver on the other end of the void to detect that flashlight that was beamed. That is how unimaginably large this void is. Now, you want to know the best part? This is not even the biggest void we know. There are countless other voids scattered across the universe. There's the Eridanus supervoid. It is located in the Eridanus supercluster. That particular void is around 500 million light years across, nearly 2 times bigger than the Botez void. There's also the KCB void. This is predicted to be the largest void in the universe, and it spans across a distance of 2 billion light years across. That is unimaginably big. Another fun fact, or a not so fun fact, is that these voids are actively expanding due to the expansion of the universe, and just like a sponge, it is stretching out, creating more space within this void, basically expanding it. If there were a civilization in the middle of this void, I don't think they would ever have any glimpse or realization that they are not alone in the universe. And I would pay a lot of money to see what their night sky actually looks like. What you just heard is exactly what Saturn sounds like. Yes, the most beautiful planet in our solar system sounds like screams from hell. And this brings us to our second part of the video: sounds from space. Now, before you jump at me saying, hey, space is a vacuum and sound cannot propagate in a vacuum, yes, you are right. If sound could travel through space, the sun would be the loudest thing we could possibly think of, and it would not stop. So that's not how these sounds are gotten. You see, space probes like Voyager, Cassini, and Juno carry instruments that detect electromagnetic waves that these planets give off. These waves are then translated into audio frequencies, and every single planet gives off a distinct sound. Mercury sounds like someone breathing down your neck, Saturn sounds like screams from hell as if just listened, and Venus reminds me of distant bells from Catholic churches. But let us listen to them individually. I would recommend you use headphones for this part. Starting off with Mercury. Now, I don't know about you, but something feels wrong with what I just listened to. Next, we have Venus. This reminds me so much about instruments from church. I don't know why, but I really like this particular planet. Skipping over Earth because we both know what the Earth sounds like. Now we have Mars. I don't think there's anything scary about this particular planet. It just sounds like gust of wind. Next up we have Jupiter. This particular planet just sounds like ambient noise. Now back to Saturn. Everything about this is weird. It sounds horrible, sounds like screams from hell, it's disturbing. You could probably use this as the backtrack of a horror movie and no one would believe that this is from a planet. Now moving on to Uranus. Everyone knows this is a really big blue planet. Here's what it sounds like. That was pretty underwhelming. Just sounds like a huge gust of wind. I think this is pretty expected because the winds on Uranus can reach up to 900 kilometers per hour. Moving on to the last planet on our solar system, Neptune. This sounds like static noise. Sounds slightly uncomfortable, like someone is also breathing down a phone line. But overall, nothing scary. Just to add one more, here's what the sun sounds like. Here's what a neutron star sounds like. And here's what a black hole sounds like. If you made it to the second half of this video, please subscribe and leave a like. Leave a comment if you have any questions, inquiries, video suggestions, or you just wanted to say hi. It helps the channel grow and kind of gives me a little bit of morale.